Welcome to the live stream. I see lots of guys in here already, and I got to do a little adjustment here. I was showing you guys my overhead camera. Let me go ahead and make this nice and big. Let me know, Freddie, if the audio is good, or anybody else that would like to chime in. If I reposition this, it's going to mess it up for later, but let's go ahead and do this. Chat on the air. So I had that little sneak peek in from behind me. That's what I call the Skycam now, and I can turn that off the air, and we'll hide that for right now. I guess if I don't mess with that, it'll be ready for the outro. But let's turn that off so I can put chat on here and say hi to some folks. Let's go. Let's see. Let's go up here. Get my Wacom tablet to work here. Come on, mouse, help me out here. Okay, so let's see. We have DJ Ware here. Thank you for joining me. Let's get that off. I thought I turned that thing off. Got to do a transition. And so welcome. Let's see who else is here tonight. We've got Freddie here tonight. We have down here a ways. Guess I need to make this chat window smaller. We have, who else here? Tony is here in the house. Thanks for joining me, Tony. And then I'm not quite sure how to say that, but welcome. I guess it's Akil Polka. I don't know if that's right. If I brutalized it, I'm sorry. But all the way from Germany, that is really, really cool. My family heritage is from Germany. My great-grandmother, Flo, and her family came over here years and years ago. I forget the date. I need to ask my dad. My dad's totally into genealogies, and he has been working tirelessly on his genealogies to write down every family member, and quite fascinating some of the things that my father has found. And so, Freddie, you said, let's see, Wacom pin. I got 2 pins tonight. I've got one I can use on my iPad. I'm going to set it down. And I have one I can use on my Wacom tablet. So thanks for letting me know this things sound good. And I think that's Tony telling me 555. That's awesome. And there is TVJ. Congratulations on your first live stream. I think it was your first live stream. I got to attend. That was really cool to watch you break the ice. And it's always interesting when we break the ice. And so congratulations on that, TVJ. That was a really cool moment for me to be able to share and be a part of that. That is really, really, really cool. Well, so give you a little heads up tonight. I'm going to put a still image up here on the screen. Let's see, where is it? So tonight is brought to you by Kevin Crawley, because Kevin Crawley came up with this idea last week when I was asking for ideas for live streams, and he says using the iPad versus the Wacom, advantages and disadvantages, and your thoughts. So now I kind of answered that as a question last week. You can go back and look at the stream, but as I was reading back through the live stream and reading the chat, because I do have the chat replay, I actually thought, you know, that's a pretty good idea. I've talked about it in my new series, pop-up chat on the screen, and many of you already know how to put chat on your screen, but I'm doing that just to have some training things here on the channel. And then tonight I did a little commercial for tonight's live stream, so that's already live on the channel. And I kind of did some pre-recording in here to do some testing for tonight, and created some macros. And then I just wanted to put myself on the spot and record, because it's good practice, and I did that. I probably did 15 takes of that video. That was an early take, but I just kept practicing, and I kept stopping and starting the recording so I could just go back and kind of get an idea of the progression. What I have learned, and maybe this will help some of you, is that when you are practicing, there's kind of this point where you kind of plateau and then things kind of go downhill. I've noticed that even in live streams, like when we were going 2 hours for the regular live stream, I was finding that the last half for me was not that captivating. And I thought, how great would it be to have a break? And so we have a new plan now that lets me take a break. Now I'm looking for a still image I made, and how could it not be here? I made this nice still image for tonight and I don't see it here. Let me bring it in real quickly. In the meantime, let me know what new products that you're looking at. I know Freddie emailed me this week and said that there's new headphones by Rode. And so check out those if you haven't seen that. But what new products have you heard about or have you seen? Would you put that in the chat for me tonight so that I can share it with everybody, or we can talk a little bit about those. And then I'll kind of give you guys a heads up. But before we get going too far, let me just say this is the schedule now going forward. So let me pop, let's see, can I do it like, no, let's just do it like this. So this is the schedule. I will be back live on April 12th for both the live show and the post show. So FYI, that's what the plan is. So there will be no live or post show next week. And as I said earlier tonight in the stream, there is no post show tonight. So we might go a little longer than an hour. It depends on kind of how much we get done and how much energy I have as we continue through the evening. So again, I am popping chat on the screen. I'm not going to pop every single thing tonight. If you have a question, please put a Q in front of it. I think I have Aaron Parecki's chat set to, if you put a question, you write question or a Q, it should highlight. We'll see if that works tonight. I have not tested it, but I do want to cut to the chase tonight and get into our topic, and that is we're going to talk about the WACOM tablet. And let me just go over here and cut to camera 3 and bring that on the screen. Let's do it this way. Probably be the best way. So I've got my WACOM tablet and I got my iPad, and we're going to talk about this tonight. I even created some flying graphics here tonight that we can use. And so should be fun. If they all work correctly. This is actually reversed from what I had it earlier, so I'm not, no, actually this is right. Let's see, if I hit that and then I hit this, it flies in and then it'll fly back out. And then if I hit this one, I believe, yeah, it flies out, and I can go back to the same layout. So I have the WACOM tablet here. And you can see that I have the chat here. I have it popped out from the YouTube channel start. So when you create a new live stream, you can actually set things up so you can pop the chat out. And let me see if I can bring that up here on the screen for you all. Let's see, would need to bring that right here. Let me go into SuperSource. Change what is in box 2, and we'll talk about this. You can see me working on it right here. So this is box 2 right here where my hand's waving down here. And if I click on box 2 in this layout, now what I have on the screen right now is actually DVE. If I was using SuperSource, I can change that, and we will use SuperSource a little bit later. Right now I'm using my program macros, and they're right here, and we're going to talk about that. So I have chat on one side. And we'll change this camera a little bit. Sorry about the glare. But if I hold my hand right there, it cuts the glare down. but I can bring chat on the screen even right now. And so Tony asked this question, so let's go ahead and answer it here real quickly. Back to this shot, sorry guys. We'll get this working here. Put chat back on the air here. Make sure I'm set up right. Yeah, Tony, I am. He asked, are you using DVEs to get the board around the boxes? It's not an option with SuperSource on the mini lineup. So yeah, I'm using DVEs. What I like about the DVEs, Tony, is when you have macros, you can have 2 boxes fly around the screen. You can do that in the DVEs because you can use flying key. And we're going to talk a little bit about that later, but that is actually what I'm doing. So, and that's a macro. So right now I'm just using the ATEM to switch around. And I have the ability to turn those macros off because I have a macro setup that I can use in Mix Effects. That's just me and a logo. So I can click and bring on the still image at the beginning of the show, cut back to me and my logo, and then obviously I can bring up that DVE layout. In order to do that though, I have to switch on my ATEM Mini Pro to away from the chat because I have my chat coming into channel 3 in my ATEM Mini Pro, and then all of that comes in on one channel, which is channel 3 on my Extreme. So again, ATEM Mini, and I have a slide for later going into my Extreme. So the Mini has all those channels coming out the program going into input number 3 in my Extreme. And that's how I can bring in the chat. So I have to switch to camera 3 if I want to show you this layout. So I'll go back to this again. And so you have that layout. Then I have this layout right here. Cut away from these and back again. So that layout right here is one way I have things set up. I can bring it all the way full screen. I can dive back like that. I can dive like this and then back to this layout. And so I'm actually changing those layouts, and eventually the DVEs will come on so I can show you guys both the Wacom tablet. So now the Wacom tablet doesn't just do pop-out chat. It's a monitor, and I can use the Wacom pen with it, but I also can use it to draw. So I have a drawing app. Let me bring that up here for you guys so you guys can see it. So I'm going to minimize chat here for just a minute. Actually, let's pull it over here. And so now I have my Boba Fett drawing I'm working on. Let's see if I can adjust for that glare. There you go. So there is my Boba Fett drawing that I'm working on. And so I'm kind of tethered here, so I can't come over any further. And so it's quite fun. I can share this, and I will be sharing this on the screen later, so there won't be any glare on it because I'll be casting it onto the other screen by duplicating this monitor. But to be set up tonight for chat and be able to pop it up on the screen, I've got to lay out things a little bit differently. So I can draw on this. And so we will pull this chat back over here. And then I want to show you the iPad. So if I click on here, I can switch between the app Procreate, and this is another drawing app. And if I cast this as a key, then I can draw on the screen. And again, that is going to be, you're going to see that later. So you can use an iPad to draw on the screen. You can use an iPad to run Mix Effects, which is what I'm doing. And then if you don't know anything about Mix Effects, it's a great app by Adam Tao. Most of you probably know about it. I love using it. Obviously, if you refresh it from the background, it's going to have to reconnect. And so it's reconnected. It tells me that I'm recording up here. And then now if I go over here and hit, or I'm on the air, I can hit record. Now you can see that I'm recording ISO tracks in the back. And I don't usually use those files, but I do like to have a recording when I get into some of the nitty gritty stuff in case I want to take a clip of that and use it later. So sorry about the glare, but we're going to talk about the Wacom tablet and we're going to talk about the iPad. And obviously there's more apps you can use on the iPad. I have an app called Filmic Pro on my phone, and you could put it on an iPad, and that app lets me do a clean HDMI or clean video out. And I have that hooked up to my Apple TV. And let me cut back to this angle here real quick. And let's make sure this is live here. And it is. So now that we have that live, let's get back in here. So it is, oh, forgot about that, sorry. So it is actually tethered. Here's the cable. One cable goes into the Wacom tablet, and then it has feet underneath it. And then also underneath it are some extra points for the pin. And this is the pin. Sorry about the camera turning around. So this is the pin. And these little feet fold up. And then I'll let you guys peek again under there. In that little slot back there, there is a little flap that you can open up. I love how the phones turn over. And so this is more of a close-up of the chat. So anything, when I'm doing chat, anything I highlight would pop on the screen, and it's not going to pop on the screen right now because I have camera 3 on, or actually camera 4 on my ATEM, and that's casting this. So if I go back to camera 3, then that's the downward cam. And now that I have my iPhone tethered and fired up, then I can just cut from camera 1 input, which is my 5D Mark III overhead. Again, that's what you're seeing right here down on the desk. And then I can cut right back to this. And I'm just doing hard cuts. And so there's mix effects. And you can see that my macros are all listed on there. And so right here is my still image for live. Then I've got cut to camera 1. I also have intro live show, which plays my HyperDeck intro. Next to that, I have me and a laptop, and that's the button I'll push to go back to just me and my laptop if I want my laptop screen. Then I have a please subscribe button, and I'm pretty sure we can push that right now. Let's just see what happens. There you go. So I can activate all of these things from Mix Effect right here on the iPad, and I love that. It's not the only use for the iPad. I could be monitoring the video feed. I could be using it to use Procreate. And again, Procreate is another program that I have here on my iPad. And again, I can draw on that with this pen, and I can go in here and erase it all. And like I said, if I set this up so it'll cast a free background, transparent, then I can draw right on the screen, and we're going to try to set that up later. But right now I do not have it set up, so we'll look at that. So nice little marks all over my screen from my eraser, and I cleaned it right before the live stream, so that kind of messes things up. So keep that in mind if you're going to use one of these. Then go back to Mix Effects. So there I have, and then every time you refresh it, it's going to reconnect. So it's reconnecting right now, and now it's back to my pad. So over here on this side, I can go to my media. That's my media in my media pool, and my media pool is right there on the screen. There's my media pool, and you can see Media Player 1 has my logo, and Media Player 2 has my Super Source background, which is behind us right now. And it's behind us right now because I have it set up to play in the background, and then I have two DVEs over it. And so that's all of the deals there. Then I have the transition settings. It's on mix right now. I can look at my upstream keys. I can look at my downstream keys. I can go into super source. So the main two windows that I use all the time is this window, because I can just scroll down here and change what's in the different boxes. So box 1, 2, 3, and 4, because you can have 4 boxes in super source. And then these are my inputs. So I already told you that channel 3 is what I'm tethering right now. So it's already live in that box. Box number 2, and again, I have DVEs on the screen, and they're picture in pictures, and I have 2 of those. You would have 1 of those if you have an ATEM Mini or an ATEM Mini Pro or an ATEM Mini Pro ISO. You'd only have 1 upstream key, 1 downstream key, and your upstream key also has a DVE. So I can switch box 1, which is the box that I'm in, to like camera 2 or camera 1. It's in 2 now, so if I hit 1, if I was using super source, it would switch this camera image that I'm in. But again, we'll come back to that. So I can change any sources. So I love that layout. And then if I click up here, I can choose any of these layouts and make that my choice for when I'm in super source. So I can just tap those, and ATEM has these cool animations. So things don't just hard change. They actually make these nice dissolves, and you can change those settings. So the iPad, you can run mix effects, so I think it's a great tool, and I use it just to run mix effects mainly in my live streams. And then the Wacom tablet, I can use it to draw, or I can use it to do PowerPoint. So if I cast PowerPoint, and we'll show you guys that here in a second. Let's go back to camera 3. That camera. Go back to macros here. And I'll check on the chat here in just a minute, guys. Put me back up there. So again, I can have this on my desk and be running this, but I could also use it for like drawing on the Microsoft products. So let's bring those up here. Let's see, where are you guys? PowerPoint. So if I had PowerPoint open like this, then I could actually go into draw mode. And if you look at your PowerPoint now, you'll see there's a draw mode on the top. See if we can change this. So then I can choose eraser or these pens, a highlighter, and I can draw right on here, right on this deal. And if I was casting this into my ATEM, then you would be seeing the still image, and you would be able to see me draw on the screen. But right now I'm just kind of showing you my desktop and how things are laid out. And so then I can just go back and erase those things that I just did by just hitting the back arrow, and it's on the top. So I can load in slides, and then I can draw on them, and I can do a PowerPoint presentation. So if I have a client and we're trying to do an install, I'll make up a slideshow like this, and I have a bunch of them. I can just change the name and bring them in. But if I'm talking about how I have my ATEM set up, this is exactly how I have my ATEM Mini set up. So I have camera 1 coming in. Then next to that, I have these 2 devices, the HD coming out of the HyperDeck Studio HD Plus and my streaming bridge. My PC comes into the next input, which is channel 3, and then my Apple TV comes into channel 4, and then obviously program out comes into extreme number 3, and that's right here listed in this diagram. And then I actually have pictures so I can explain to people how you could use one ATEM to bring in another ATEM, and I think that's a really cool use of that. And again, using macros can do animations like this, and you can fly things around the screen just like I just did. And if you create these macros ahead of time, then you can do some pretty fun things with your ATEM. Like I can bring myself full screen, and that's just a DVE going from where I had it on the page to zooming it out, and that's all done while I'm recording a macro using the flying key feature. So I have a Wacom tablet and I have an iPad, and there's pros and cons to those. I already said that I can only use my Wacom pen and a mouse to use my Wacom tablet. I can use my finger, or I can use a pen like this with a rubber top to be able to use mix effects. So I have the finger, or I have this. I also can use my Logi mouse, even though it doesn't seem to be working tonight, but it has the ability to input to 3 different devices. So I can go from my PC to my laptop over to my iPad. And again, it wasn't working earlier, but my keyboard works in it. And then I have the Logi keyboard, which will also change up here in these first 3 buttons. Button number 1 is my PC. Button number 2 is my laptop. And then button number 3, it's automatically switching over to my iPad. So I have a keyboard for my iPad when I need to. I have a keyboard for my laptop over here when I need one. And again, I have a keyboard for my PC. So I use this when I'm typing in the chat and responding to you guys when we're live. So it's closer over here than me turning over to my laptop. So again, I like the fact that I have the ability to be able to do a number of things using these features that are available right here from the, let's switch to this. And I'm looking and shopping right now for another camera because this Canon 5D Mark III times out after 29 minutes. So if you're not paying attention, it will time out on you. So now this is a layout for DVEs, right? So I have the DVE that I'm in, a DVE in there, and I will bring up the software here so you guys can see it over onto my desktop. Slide that over. Then I'm going to change to Super Source now. Turn off some DVEs. So again, in Super Source layout, now I have the full advantage of mix effects. So right now in box 2, I'm showing my desktop. So if I was to go down into mix effects right now and go into box 2, which is right there, click on the box and then change the input, I could put camera 1 in the input, which is this camera right here. I can put camera 2 in it as well if I want to duplicate myself. I can go back to the overhead camera, which is coming in from input number 3, which is over here. And again, I can switch now what you see on the screen to all of these inputs just by using my ATEM Mini. I can even put the chat on the screen like that. Back to my mobile camera, which is tethered to my Apple TV. And my Apple TV, guys, it's going to be dark. It is right up here somewhere. Let's move the trash can. In the dark, back there in the corner underneath my desk is my Apple TV. So again, I have PowerPoint open and I can draw on the PowerPoint. You click right here under this category. You have File, Home, then you have Insert. My mouse is over it right now. Draw, Design, Transition, Animation. So if you click on Draw, then you can choose the type of pen, and then I can draw on the screen depending on what I'm wanting to draw, and then I can back out of it right here. And I can change slides as well by tapping on the different slides right there. So again, let's take this back to number 4. So the DVEs are basically under the keys, and there's only 2 of them. So I have my key for my logo on the bottom of the screen. And everything that's left of this bar are upstream keys. And if you have an ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, it's going to look different. So I don't want to switch over right now because I'm actually live streaming from my Extreme, so I'm not going to switch over. But I would only have 4 channels up here if I had an ATEM Mini or an ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO. I would only have 1 key over here, and then I would not have Super Source on that top level as well. And then the bottom pretty well duplicates the top. So you're going to have Media Player 1, Media Player 1 down here, and I have Media Player 2. So in the ATEM Mini Extreme and Extreme ISO, ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, and ATEM Mini Pro ISO, you do not have 2 media players, and those are found right here. So you'd only have 1 of these if you had an ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO. But if you have an Extreme or Extreme ISO, then you have 2 players, and what you drag over here from your media pool is going to play. And then upstream keys, downstream keys are always down from the transition bar, which is right here. And if I transition right now and fire up this camera, I cut directly to it. But if I went down here to Super Source and then move the bar back and forth, you can see it's changing from what's down here that is green, ready to go live, and up here, which is red. And right now I have my Super Source as what is on the screen. So everything up here can be live. I can make what's up in front of you on the program. I can make it black. I can make it a color, color 1, color 2. I can make it my MP1, which is my logo. I can cut back to Super Source, and all I'm doing is clicking on these buttons up here because they're all inputs. 8 of them are coming in the HDMIs, and the other ones are built inside the device. And again, that's the black setting, color 1, color 2, your Super Source when you have an Extreme or Extreme ISO or some of the bigger decks, and then Media Player 1, Media Player 2, all can be made live by clicking directly on them, or you could do a transition to Media Player 2, which is just going to be this background that's behind me right now. So if I hit auto right here, it's going to transition just to the background, and then we'll come back. And I can turn my logo off right here because it's in a key. So the keys over here, if you go into palettes, go into my upstream key, I have it set for Luma. You have a choice between Luma, Chroma, Pattern, and DVE, and there's your DVE. So if you turn on this DVE, and then you go into your upstream key 2. Again, if you have an ATEM Mini, ATEM Mini Pro, ATEM Mini Pro ISO, you're going to only have 1 upstream key. But when you get to the Extreme and Extreme ISO, you have 4. So if I was to turn the DVE on in upstream key 2, you can see that I go off the air. If I was to turn that on DVE, then I would have used both my DVEs because I would be using the DVE in upstream 1, using DVE in upstream 2, and I wouldn't have 2 more available. So with Super Source, I can have 4 boxes on the screen, and with the 2 DVEs built into the keys, I can have 2 more boxes on the screen. So theoretically, I could be in a box and have all of those other Super Source boxes be guests, and then I could have 2 DVEs be guests if I could sort out all the inputs. And again, if you're going to have all those guests come in, you have to be able to have inputs to bring them in. So I would be in 1, and then I'd have to use, again, 3 more for Super Source, 3 guests, and 2 more to be able to bring in the other guests. And that's hard to do because I have 2 HyperDecks hooked up right now to channels 5, 6, 7, and 8 are HyperDecks, and that's how I play my intro videos and all of that. So let's take a break. Let's go back to the chat. I'm sorry, that's quite a long time of just chatting away. So let's go back to my macros. Let's go to me and my logo and turn on chat again. And let's go back and see if we can't pick up the chat. And get my mouse here, bring that back up. I'm still in, there we go. Okay, so let's go back up here and see if you have any questions. Well, that is interesting. What has happened here? That's in a DVE. So let's go to upstream key 4. Figure out what we did here. So Freddie said he noticed that there might be a new Blackmagic camera before NAB. Is that what you're talking about, Freddie? There might be. We may see some announcements at NAB. That's pretty exciting. TVJ said that he and Tony were messing around with SRT, and that's a great conversation. I'm definitely not an expert on other ways to bring in guests or to communicate back and forth. But if you go over to TVJ's channel and you go over to the other guys that are usually in the stream, they are now starting to experiment with that. I know Tony, Adam Tao, Aaron Parecki, John Barker, all of those guys have been messing with different ways to bring in guests on the screen. And that's pretty exciting. Tony said this about using the DVEs. Yeah, and Tony, I like the DVEs because you can do a shadow, you can do a outline, and you know my colors are black and yellow, so I like to do that outline. And then you actually can then use the flying key feature to move them around the screen. And I've talked about that before, and I like to use that when I'm programming my macros. Because I can actually have it animate in my macro, or I can create a macro just to animate things. So like when I start getting my channel bigger and I start seeing more super chats, what I'd like to do is use the flying key to take your chat. And if it was a super chat, then I would be able to zoom into it. And I would do that by using the flying key feature in the control software. And that's just under the upstream key that I'm using for chat, and that's key number 4, and I'm popping it on and off the screen by just hitting it inside the control software. I can also do that from my mix effect on the iPad and just tap on and off the air because I have macros set. And see right now, for some reason, my on air is flying out, so that macro right now is not working the way it's supposed to be. So if I click on full, it will be fixed like that. So I'm just going to leave chat on, and then I'll bring things off the air this way. So let's continue down here and catch up with the chat. DJ, I'm not quite sure. Let me scroll down here. This may be in response to conversation you guys are having. DJ Ware says, LLC, me too. And I also wish SS would record into the ISO. Super source recording the ISO. Yeah. So Aaron Parecki has a video on his channel about how to record your Zoom call. And what he's doing is he's actually recording super source. So he's coming out of one of his 2 HDMI outs back in to a channel. So basically, instead of going out to a monitor, he's coming in to one of his inputs, and then he records that ISO track. So it's a trick. So you can't record super source, but if you come out super source from one of your HDMI outs, right, you put it on the screen in the program, super source, and then stream out that to your input in your ISO, and then hit record. Again, that would work, but you really need 2 HDMIs to do that, so you can have your multi-view in one monitor using one HDMI out, and then the other HDMI out, you would be able to stream out to that. I guess you could bypass that if you were using a streaming bridge and you were broadcasting from the streaming bridge from your ATEM, and then coming out of that, splitting it to like a web presenter HD and then broadcasting from the web presenter HD, then you'd be able to loop that back through by splitting it. But again, that sounds like a nightmare. It's just nice to have an extreme to be able to use one of those inputs or outputs to send it out, super source, and then into an input. So it's ruining my brain right now thinking about it, but I'll tell you, Aaron Parecki did a video on it, and he's very concise, very easy to follow. You may have to watch it a couple times, but He talked about how you can record your Zooms because the recording level of Zoom right now is not that great. So if you're going to do a training with a bunch of people online, but you want to have that training to be able to share it to other people or rebroadcast it, then you're going to want to be able to record your SuperSource and be able to use your presentation and then do your whole presentation in SuperSource. And then when you want to zoom into you, you would use Mix Effect to be able to change to a single camera box, and that'll zoom into the screen, and then you can go back to a 2-box or a 3-box or 4-box. And that's what I love about the animations built into Mix Effect. Now you can run that off an iPhone. You can run it off an iPad. Mix Effects is just one of the tools. There's other software out there that you can use on the iPad. There's other drawing apps that you can use on an iPad, guys. And there's other coloring apps or painting apps that are available for the Wacom tablet. But the cool thing is there's a lot of demo products that come with a Wacom One. And I just saw a price decrease. I saw a Wacom One instead of $395 US, I saw it marked down to $295, which means that's 25% off what I paid when I bought my Wacom tablet right after the holiday. So dive in and get one. Again, it can become a monitor on your desk just to follow chat or watch the stream quality. You can use it to pop chat out and then use your pen to put the chat on the screen. Good to see you, MT. MT and I met at, why can't I think? Petra's live stream on Saturdays. So check out Petra. I see MT there. I've seen MT on Aaron Parecki's stream. So welcome, MT. It's great to see you inside my stream. I'm quite honored that you're here. I know that you pop around and do a lot of streams. I'm sure, Tony, that's for someone else, probably MT. Time for him to be sleeping. Because MT said this, I just woke up about 10 minutes ago. So again, all the things you could do when you need coffee is to hang out with me. That's pretty impressive. Thank you very much. So again, I do want to have a little bit of Q&A, and I do want to make some transitions. We've been together now for about 45 minutes. I think it'd be cool to show you guys how you can cast the Wacom tablet from the tablet onto my screen, my ATEM, also the iPad. And again, guys, the way you're going to do this casting, let me just stop here for a minute. If you have a Mac or you have a PC, one of the features that you have the ability to do, and you guys all know this, I'm sure, is to share a monitor. So also, and I haven't done this on a Mac, so shout out if you can do this. I heard that some Macs you can only have 1 or 2 monitors, but I can also duplicate. So instead of just sharing the same thing that's on my desktop or my laptop to all those other monitors, I can then expand my desktop so that I can drag things over to monitor 1, monitor 2, monitor 3. I can have more monitors on my PC than that. And the other thing that we forget sometimes is that when you have your desktop or your laptop, your PC or your Mac coming into your ATEM, right? As like I do, I have channel 4 into my Extreme is my laptop, and my PC that I have in my studio as well on all the time. That is doing my face cam, which is my overhead cam that you guys saw earlier. And it's also being shared to my ATEM Mini, and then I can bring that into my live stream. And so really my PC is doing OBS, it's doing the chat, it's doing the presenting the chat, it's doing my camera 3 through the ATEM. All of that is coming through sharing that monitor. Obviously I can go directly from my ATEM to the live stream, but when it comes to being able to display things, I can then now choose 3 monitors. So my PC can go into my BenQ 32-inch monitor. It also goes into my ATEM. It also goes into my Wacom One tablet. So back to camera 3 here. This is actually plugged into my PC. So this is a monitor. I have my BenQ up here is a monitor, and then also my ATEM super source is going to be a monitor as well. So if I was to cut to that, then if I could cut to my BenQ right now, you would know that I have super source, not super source open, but I have my multi-view open. And one of the inputs is my, my downward camera. And that's also next to it in channel 4 is my PC desktop. So if I cut to channel 4, bring it into channel 3, cut, try that again. Not sure what's going on here. I have lost control of my studio. Let me see. No DVEs are on. ATEM Mini Pro. Oh, my phone is on my desk. That's what happened. So I don't have my phone up, so it was a black screen. So let me cut back to my mobile cam. Cut to channel 3. My overhead cam. My PC desktop, which is quiet right now. Back to this. And my desktop is quiet because it's displaying something that doesn't have anything on the screen right now. So we'll have to wake that up here in just a minute. So if I want to draw on the screen or show you me drawing on my Wacom tablet or use Procreate in my iPad, then I have to change my settings in my laptop, display settings, and I have to change the settings in my PC to have them duplicate what is on my Wacom tablet with what you're seeing in my Blackmagic Design ATEMs. And so if I was going to be drawing on the screen and that was what I was going to focus on rather than wanting to display something like my iPad, because I could cast my mix effects on my iPad as well. If I want to just share Procreate through a key, then I'm going to have to be able to share my screen. Same with my Wacom tablet. So I have to change those settings, and we're going to do that here in a second in my PC and see if we can get it set up so I can draw on Boba Fett right on the screen. But we'll finish the chat before we do that. So Tony says, let's fix this here real quick. Chat on the air is going to fly to the wrong place here. So let's fly it to full. Tony says this. Yes, desktop extended monitor on Mac is an option. So the other question then, Tony, is if that's an option, can you also duplicate 2 of those monitors like you can in the PC? And we're going to bring that up here in a second. So let's bring this over. Bring this over. Close this. Save that and close. My poor laptop is working pretty hard tonight. Just closing a couple of programs here, and then we're going to show you where those settings are on my laptop. Put that on the screen. Got to let my... So if you have a spinning hard drive, like the old school backup drives, if they go dormant and shut down, you have to wait for them to spin up. Most of what I use in my studio are SSD drives. You don't have to wait for them to spin up. And I'm just trying to close Adobe Premiere, and I've been working off of a spinning 10 gigabyte drive, and I have to wait for it to spin up when it goes to sleep. And that's what I'm actually waiting for it to do before I can save and close Premiere Pro, because I want to have as much CPU left here as I possibly can. So any other questions about these 2 devices before I demo this feature in the PCs where you can duplicate two screens. So here I am with my desktop, and if I right click on here, I can go into display settings, and you can see right now I have my 1 and 3 split so that I can share them. So whatever I have on 1 will also play on 3. So right now, my desktop is also in my Blackmagic Design monitor. So that's how you do it. So if I wanted to change this, which would mess everything up tonight, then I would just go back down here to multiple displays, and then I would change this back to show only on 1 or show only on 3. And I can also extend my desktop on 1 and 3. I can duplicate my desktop on 1 and 3. And then I can also choose what I want to be number 1. So, and that's cool, especially when I'm using my PC and not my laptop, which you're seeing right now. On my PC, I can choose my Wacom tablet as my number 1 monitor. So when I boot up in the morning from my PC, I can log in right here from my Wacom tablet. I can switch over to drawing, or I can switch back over to my desktop, and I can also have it up on my BenQ if I would like. So that's where you change the settings. And so if you want to use the feature of Procreate, you're going to have to duplicate your screen and be able to share it that way. So same with my PC. If I want to show my Wacom tablet and draw on my Wacom tablet, and you guys see what I'm drawing on the screen, then I have to duplicate those. So we'll cut back to this. And while I'm in this mode, I am going to risk it here. So I'm going to pull the chat over here. And let's see what we have here. Minimize this right now. Display settings. And I have 3 monitors. So what I want to do is I want to duplicate what is on 3. So I'm going to have to choose my Wacom tablet as my source monitor. Okay, let's see if this works here. Keep the changes. Minimize this. Ready for this? So I want me and my PC. There we go. So now I have you able to see my Wacom tablet. So if I wanted to, and I don't want to do this, I don't want to ruin this drawing. I've been working on this for a while. And let me grab Boba Fett real quick. This is the Boba Fett I've been using right there. Hopefully it'll focus on him. And so I'm trying to match that. And I haven't drawn his body yet. That would be the next step. So I would take him down here. And I actually like to put him on the shelf because I have a better angle at his helmet. And so now I could take my pen. I could choose a size here. And then I could choose a color down here. And I can draw all around the screen here. And then I can also go in here and grab an eraser, and I can erase this, and I can make it bigger. and just erase this. I don't want to erase Boba Fett. And then back to smaller. And then I love the blending mode because it's right here. So let me show you how that works. So let's go back to a pen. Let's do a paintbrush. Let's do some cool red. Be like that. Bigger pen. Then I'll do a fine line. That's the paintbrush. Let's do a black. And I'm just making marks here, guys. And if I take the blend here, then I can blend this. And I love the blend mode. It's just really cool. So I made a mess on my beautiful drawing, but we'll erase that. So I could do a live stream of me drawing and have it on the screen. Obviously, I would position the camera a little bit different so that it's more straight on me. But again, I can now share this because I've duplicated the screen. So it being a monitor and a drawing tablet, I can show people what I'm doing. This app has a time-lapse feature, so I could start a drawing and record the whole thing and they'd be able to see it. So I love this app, this Boba Fett app, and this is called Clip Studio Paint Pro. And I think I paid $50 for it. It's about the same price as Adam Tile's Mix Effect app. So I got a painting program right here, and then I've got the iPad over here with Mix Effects on it. And then I also have the ability to use the Procreate app to be able to draw on the screen as well. And then that, because it has a transparent mode, you can draw over things. Again, you're drawing on the iPad while you're watching your monitor. What I love about this is I'm drawing on the screen. I'm not trying to draw on a pad and then watch a monitor. I love the fact that I'm able to draw right on the screen here, and I don't have to worry about looking someplace else. And this actually feels like paper. I mean, it has a feeling of like I'm drawing on a sheet of paper. So I love that. So, you know, I could sign my name. And again, like then I could go back and erase it or just reverse what I did. And I love what you can do with this app. So, and I did a couple tests of Boba Fett till I got it the way I liked it. And I was working on this right now. These lines right here are too hard. Let me kind of show you guys where I'm at because you can't see that. Let me grab the mouse pointer. But right here, along this edge is kind of too dark, and that needs to be blended, and I just haven't done that yet. So again, that is drawing on the Wacom. So Kevin Crawley, wherever you are, I haven't seen you in the chat tonight. Let me see what's in the chat right now. Which computer is running the stream, your PC or your laptop? Let's pop this up on the screen here and turn chat back on here. I've got things moved all over everywhere now. Let's do chat on the air. It's going to fly out there like that. We'll switch that up. Actually, what is going on now? What did I do? That is so hilarious. Okay, let me back up here. Let's see. Let's go back into my pad. Minimize that. Display settings. Let's see. Let me click on one. It's reverting. That didn't work either. Come on. Sorry, guys. Trying to get this set back up again. Okay, what do I got now here? Okay, let's see if I can get the chat back on the screen here. Like OBS completely shut down. Any questions why we're talking about this? Still do not have the ability to display chat. I don't know what I did. Again, I set all this stuff ahead of time, and it gives me the ability to display chat. And I'm missing a setting for some reason here. Let me pull this back over onto my desktop, see if I can't get things organized here again and sort this out. But I do not want to have this displayed twice. So I have it on. Okay, so that is, I'm going to show only one. Does this fix it? Nope. Yeah, not sure what's going on, guys. I have two of my monitors stuck in duplication mode, which means I cannot broadcast OBS to my my one screen. Let me see, maybe it fixed it here. So let me go back and see. Well, let's see. I guess I can. So, but I can't see the chat itself. And I have to choose between the two, or do I? Let's see here. So if I switch to that, and let's go. There it is. Woo! I figured it out. Dun, 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 dun. Wow, I was lost in duplicate share monitor mode. So there you go. That's a way to take a break, because I am going to, as I said earlier, we are going to take a break from the live stream and the post show. We're taking a break from the post show tonight, so there's not going to be a post show. So we'll be on here for a little while longer. So see if there's any other Q&A. But here's my still image letting you know I'll be back on. Let's take the chat off here, Tony. I'll be back on the 12th of April with both the pre-show and the post-show. I've got some planning that I want to do to get ready for that. So FYI, no post-show tonight and no shows at all next week. I got a lot of things I want to do, some projects, some behind-the-scene footage I want to do. Want to finish building that rig. Got a battery pack coming for that Blackmagic Design Pocket Cinema 6K Pro for the venue that I'm working with. So we're going to have some behind the scene footage for that. I'm hoping to be over at that venue next Monday and Tuesday So that would be fun. So I will not be live because I take most of Tuesdays to dink with things and learn how to use things for live. And you saw how difficult it is, because when you have 3 monitors and you have chat open and you're casting it through OBS open to full screen onto the Blackmagic Design input, and then bringing that in on a key and using a macro button in Mix Effects, there's multiple layers, and it's a lot less complicated than it sounds if I just didn't try to change these things in the middle of a live stream. Or if I bought a video hub so I could just simply switch the matrix, which is like $1,400-$1,500 for the basic model, $2,000 for the one I really want, then I wouldn't have these issues. So any other comments or questions about the Wacom tablet? Are there any apps that you're using on your iPad in your live streams? Anybody else out there have a drawing board that you can draw on? They make them in monitor form. And then if you really want to spend money, they make them in PC form. And again, my Wacom tablet, you can buy a 16 and I think a 27-inch model and even a larger 32-inch model, I believe. And it's a computer, and they're thousands of dollars. But I love the fact that I can use it as a monitor. I can also use it to monitor chat. So, okay. Well, the other thing, let's see here. Keith, you are coming into my studio now over SRT. Laugh out loud. Jay is seeing your live to me over SST. So that's kind of fascinating. Chat going on the screen here. You just turn this on so it doesn't fly around the screen. This is what Tony wrote. So cool. I don't know what that means. I guess somehow you're streaming to him, my stream coming to you from your computer through SRT. That's pretty cool. It's good to see Joe here from Controlling Technologies. And yeah, there's no post show, no puppets tonight. I am ventriloquism free for 2 weeks, which is great. I may do a little practice. I may do a little drawing again, but there will be no post show tonight. And if you're just tuning in, Joe, I apologize, expecting the post show. But I will be back on April 12th. I believe that's what the still image said. And I will put a still image up on next Tuesday for the following Tuesday. So those of you that think I'm live next Tuesday, they're going to be still images to advertise the following week. So TVJ said he had problems managing everything he was doing on Saturday. Yeah, that's very understandable. And maybe an SRT video in the near future. We'll see. I'd love to have you come in, SRT Tony, or who, TVJ. That would be cool. See if I could bring in SRT on my end. Actually, I don't think I have anything I can bring SRT in. I'd have to have the boxes that you guys have, and that's again over my head. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. You'll be missed too. You get to see me. I don't get to see you. I just get to see your chat. And then Tony's response to Freddie, we're planning an SRT live stream, hopefully at the end of April, have to coordinate it with Jay and Joe. Man, I wish I could be a part of that. Maybe Tony, you should email me, let me know what I would need if I was to join that SRT encoder and a Raspberry Pi. Obviously, the Raspberry Pi is way above my head, so you guys would have to be willing to program one. I'd pay for it, and you guys would program and send it to me, obviously, and then I'd have to learn how to set up SRT, so it'd be really cool. So I did a poll on my YouTube channel, and the #1 request, transition here. I should probably do this first before I say that, so let's do this. So one of the things I did on my YouTube channel is I did a poll. I don't have it ready to display tonight, but in that poll, I asked a number of things that you might be interested to see more about. And I did get one of them I shared last week was puppets. That wasn't one of the biggest ones. The biggest one is how to make graphics for the HyperDeck. So one of the things that I plan on doing in the next 2 weeks is another couple videos going into Adobe Audition, not Adobe Audition, but Adobe Illustrator, and doing some PNG graphics again. But most of what I would do if I was going to do animated graphics would be in After Effects. And so I want to make a video for that. I've already done some videos on the channel. I believe there's one in my HD HyperDeck Studio HD series, and my mini series. I know there is, but again, in a live stream. So I want to do a little prep for that and then be able to do a live stream on making graphics. So I made a stinger for one of the guys in the chat tonight in the last couple months. And you guys saw my stinger, which I created with my background graphic. Just took a still graphic and created this animation that crosses the screen like this with sound effects. And so I made that graphic in my After Effects. It's a little bit more high tech than the one that I made for one of our listeners tonight. But again, that graphic I made for him is his logo splitting in half and then splitting this way. So coming together in half and then going out this way, which doesn't give you a lot of space to hide the transition. And when you play a stinger, you're supposed to do a transition like this. So I can hide the transition behind that stinger. So I'm hiding the transition behind the stinger, and that's really the use of a stinger or to segue to another section in your live stream. And I think they're a great tool, and there's lots of different stingers that you can create, but the gist of it is something that's going to come on the screen. It doesn't just have to be something that you'd use for a cut, but it could be a little advertisement. I like the Fox Network when they were doing football, when they had the robot football player come out in whatever uniform the visiting team was and the home team and spike the ball and do the dance. I loved those animations on the screen. And TVJ, you probably know a lot more about those kind of animations in those trucks for those events than I do. So again, go over and check out these guys' channel. There's some cool stuff that they are a part of that I haven't had a chance to be a part of, at least at that level. I did meet a guy from, I believe it was a company that works freelance with Fox and some of the other games, and they traveled around, and he was in charge of everybody in the trailer, the whole team, and that was quite fascinating. We sat down and talked a lot about RVs, and we also talked a lot about production in those big events. That was really cool. So Tony is saying that you can use a Raspberry Pi for, put my logo back up there, a Raspberry Pi for SRT. So on OBS. So you can use OBS as well to use SRT. So I'll have to look into that. And then this is typically, Joe, a post-show question. So I'm not even sure if I can answer that in the live show. Would I be breaking etiquette if I answer these personal questions in the live show? I don't know. Let me think about that and process that while I have a little sip here and wet my whistle. I just used one of those beard trimmers. So a pretty tight attachment. Try to trim it once a week. I don't think it's been trimmed for a week, so sometimes you guys see it a little bit longer than other ones. You can see it's full of gray. I have some gray. I'm not a big fan of this, but my wife is a big fan of this. That's why it stays on. So if it was up to me, I could shave it off and it would make me look younger. So I'm not sure what the best way to go is, but there you go. There's no post show this week, so I will go ahead and answer that question in the live stream. So another question for you guys, not to ask for a super chat because I'm not, but let me know if it's enabled tonight in the chat for you, because I think I have it set up. maybe I messed something up and it's not set up. So let me know if that's available in the chat, and please do not use that as a request for a super chat, because again, that's totally up to you guys. And yes, I did cancel the post show for tonight because I have something going on that I got to go take care of. So, and then I will be back on April 12th. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I'd rack my brain. TVJ says, you said it sounds like you were talking to the tech manager for Fox. Could have been. I know he was working mainly around the Northwest, so I don't know exactly. And they were doing a lot of, I think it was racing, which they were running around televising. So I think it was drag racing, if I remember right. And I had an invitation to go with him. I need to kind of figure out, I couldn't keep any of that information when I left that dealership, so I don't have any of that personal information to be able to go back and share that. And so obviously it's Super Chat is working, because there you go. Thank you so much, Joe, for the Super Chat, super sticker. You are a nice guy. So it is working. So good to know. So thank you very much. I don't see a question there, but I do see a Super Chat. And this is what Tony sees in Venezuela. So there you go. Doesn't get an opportunity to do Super Chat where he's from. And I know that it's not available in some countries. Good to see you, Ken. Ken is a acquaintance of mine. We worked together for a number of years and we're friends, and he's on the live chat tonight. And that's really cool to see you here, Ken. That was really cool, whatever that was. I don't know what you were talking about then. I missed that. Tony says, thanks for a great stream. Again, I wanted to try to really talk about the iPad and the WACOM ONE tablet, because that's what Kevin Crawley suggested us last week. If there's any other topics that you guys would like to see, I already told you that one of our upcoming live shows is going to be about making graphics, animated graphics for the HyperDeck. You really need to do your encoding in ProRes. That's the only thing that seems to really work consistently in a HyperDeck. You need to have them all the same size, so 1080p, 1920 by 1080p, which is high def, the same frame rate. So I stream at 2997, and that's what I render all my HyperDeck files. So you can build it however you want. You could even purchase an animated graphic. You just are going to have to make sure that it's transparent. It's got a pre-multiplied key when you purchase it. And if you can purchase ProRes, that's the way to purchase those for a HyperDeck. Or you need to create them in After Effects and then render them. And I've actually taken graphics from people and then cropped their logo, which is animated, or their subscribe button. And then I, in Adobe Premiere, and cropped it. And then I exported it as a ProRes file. And I just did that for a client this week. And so he now has an animated subscribe deal on his, for his HyperDeck that would not have worked. It would have had a black background if I hadn't brought that in. I had to redo the fonts and the text, and then the animated subscribe logo, I had to crop it, and I actually had to crop it moving. So I actually had to create a animated crop to follow the animated graphic to cut out all the background. And I'm still working on finding the right tool to be able to take out some little black corners, some tiny little edges. And maybe once I get his permission, I'll be able to show you guys in that live stream the before and the after of that graphic and use that as one of the illustrations. So you can take something like that and use some of the tools that are available in After Effects or even Adobe Premiere, because you can render Apple ProRes with a pre-multiplied key or an alpha channel in Adobe Premiere. And if that's Greek, just realize that an animated graphic on your screen needs to be transparent. And if it is animating across your screen and it has transparency in the graphic itself, like this graphic right here has no transparency, it is a yellow box with a black font in it, and it's a black box behind it. And then my logo, I do believe it may be, yeah, that's opaque. It does not have any transparency. So even if I flew this across my screen animated, it's going to be okay without a pre-multiplied key. But if this background right here wasn't just a black box, if it was kind of a transparent block, like a shadow, and if I had some transparency in life's journey, then I would want a pre-multiplied key background in order to display that. And let me look on my HyperDeck here if I have an example. I do. So let me play this again and pause it. Not that one, this one. You guys are probably hearing all of that. No, maybe you're not. Let me find that again. Let's play it. My stinger. Okay. That puts it inside my queue here. So if I bring up channel 5, you're going to see what a pre-multiplied background looks like with my stinger. So here is what it looks like, what you see on the screen, right? Here we go. We're going to cut to it. Play it again. Not that one. Sorry, back one. Stop it right there. Then if I cut to channel 8, which is the pre-multiplied background, that's what the pre-multiplied background looks like. So it's a big white background that cuts out the transparency. And again, there's an opaque white part of it, and then there's a transparent white part of it, depending on what part of the graphic that you're actually in when it's on the screen. So let me see if I can back this up again. Let me show you guys this. So at the beginning of that graphic, that's what is behind it. So this plays over top of that. And because of that, guys, I'm able to have it transparent going across the screen with really tight edges. And then I go black, and then it comes again, and you can see me again. And one more time, behind this graphic is right directly behind it is this white background cutting out me so that the graphic can play over top of that. So my stinger again plays like that. And if I only put, I'm not set up to put just the key in the background. Let's see which one comes on with that real quick. Let me play it one more time. Okay, I see you. So let's go into my downstream key 2. And if I change this, play it one more time. And for some reason, it just will not play if I only play the background for some reason. So I just tried to do that. It won't. But again, that's what the alpha channel is designed to do. It cuts out the background. So if that was to fly from the top to the bottom, it cuts out the background. So if you're animating your logo with your flying key, it doesn't have a key behind it. unless you created it pre-multiplied and you have pre-multiplied on. So keep that in mind when you're flying things around the screen. If they have transparency, that's not going to work very well. That's something you really want to play in a HyperDeck. So HyperDeck's really good for animated graphics that are moving across the screen, and your media player is great for just still graphics like my logo. This is just my graphic inside my media player, and I can put it on the screen, take it off the screen by turning key number 1 on and off. And we'll go to me in the desktop again here. Pull my desktop from my BenQ over here because I'm using multiple monitors, and then turn on this. So my upstream key for my logo is right here, and I can turn it on and off. And then if I have the key on right here, that tied it to super source. So if I was to cut from super source to channel 2, which is my shot you're seeing me right now, if I transition now down here in auto, my logo follows super source. It doesn't follow me. So if I cut back, my logo comes on because it's tied to super source. If I untie it and I hit auto transition, my logo stays on all the time because it's not designed to be attached to a certain input. That way you could have a logo for me when I'm on the screen, and then if I cut to someone else that was on the screen, I could have their logo on. So again, that would be one way to tie logos, or just you had a different graphic when you're on your overhead camera and a different graphic when you're on your main camera. It makes no difference how you use that feature. But again, it's found right in this area right here. And then if you go over to my upstream key right here, I have my media player assigned to it. So it's Luma. It's not a chroma. It's not a pattern or a DVE. It's actually a Luma key. And I have media player 1 and media player 1 key set up. So that's playing right here in this key, and I'm putting my logo on and off. Now, if I turn pre-multiplied on when it's not a pre-multiplied graphic, this is what happens. I'm just turning pre-multiplied on right here. See my mouse on the right-hand side? If I turn pre-multiplied on, this is what happens. Now, I could obviously adjust the settings right here in clip and gain, and that would change just a little bit, but it's automatically looking for a pre-multiplied graphic, and this logo below me is not. I didn't need to because it's a black box behind a yellow box and a solid logo, so I didn't need a pre-multiplied background to cut it out because the edges look great because they're not transparent at all. So again, real quick look at keys and bringing logos on. It's the same thing. If I go back into that view and I wanted to bring in, if I wanted to bring in my HyperDeck, so if I had a logo like my subscribe logo, and if I play my subscribe logo right here, it looks like this. So it plays, that's playing in my HyperDeck 1. And you can see the key that came on is right here. And it's going to go off because it's time to go off with a macro. So watch that. It auto transitioned off. So I'll hit the macro again. So watch this side over here. Watch the key come on and off again in my downstream key. And remember, upstream keys are on this side of the transition bar, and downstream keys are on that side of the transition bar. So again, I'm going to hit that subscribe macro again and watch the key come on, and then it will slowly go off the air through this auto button right here. So watch that auto button come on here in a second, and then you're going to watch the logo fades out. And that's what the auto button does. If I push it right now, it fades that logo back on again. If I loop it, it'll just continue playing, and I can fade that logo in, logo out, and I just programmed the fade in my macro. So I don't have to use my mouse to do that. All I have to do is hit my macro. So I'll stop that animation. So it's stopped now, hit my macro again. And because it's a macro, it's automatically going to play the logo. It automatically turns the key on, and then it automatically puts the auto transition on, which fades out the logo. Even though I can look down and it's still playing in my HyperDeck for a few more seconds, it's not on the screen anymore because I programmed that in a macro, and I'm using Mix Effects on my iPad to push those macro buttons, which I absolutely love. Now I can also mess with Super Source on the iPad with Mix Effects, and I love doing that as well. So now I am in Super Source. So if I click on Super Source inside my iPad, and I'll switch to this other view here real quick. Let me go back to macros. Let me switch right here to, let's see, camera 1, put it on. Switch to this view right here. Timed out camera, which is gonna go. That camera's gonna go. I'm shopping to replace you. I'm telling you, you turn off all the time. So right now, I can change Super Source inside the Mix Effect app. So I'm gonna change from macro screen to Super Source screen. There it is. And this is the Super Source I'm in. You can see it's the 2-box layout. It's locked right now and not very big. But if I go down below this, I have the boxes. So if I want to change which is in box 1, I can change it to camera 1 right now. And there I am in camera 1. I can change it back to camera 2 right here. I tapped it. I can go to my PC desktop, put it over there. So now it's in both places. I can put my software in there. I could put my HyperDecks in there. They're not playing right now. But that one played automatically because it's set to auto roll. I can go back to me in that picture. I can go to box 2, and now I can make that auto roll my HyperDeck. So I'm going to hit HyperDeck input on my ATEM in Mix Effects right here. And my stinger automates because that's what's cued in my HyperDeck. And every time I cut to it and make it live on the screen, it's set to auto roll. And so now I can bring my desktop back in that image, and that's my PC desktop. If I want to bring my laptop desktop in, I can bring it in. And that's what I love to use Mix Effects on this app, because then I don't have to try to push buttons there. And I also then don't have to try to mouse around the screen right here. I can program macros, and you program macros right up here. If I open up macros, it's going to open on a different screen right now. But the macros are right there. Let's see if I can find those macros here somewhere. I'm live, so I don't want to mess this up. Yeah, and I just don't see where the macros are opening. But you open up macros right here, and then you can program them. I would not recommend you create any macros when you're live streaming. That would be a mistake. So again, any final questions before we go and wrap this up? That's kind of a demo of me changing Super Source. So I can use Super Source. I can run my HyperDecks as well from this. So let's cut back to this other camera. So I could go down here to HyperDecks, and then I have 2 HyperDecks. I have HyperDeck 1 right here, HyperDeck 2 right here. And so they're not live right now, but I can choose a HyperDeck file, and I can hit play. I can hit loop, and I can run them from Mix Effects as well. So I love these features. I usually have my macros on most of the time, so I can automate my show and cut back right now to me and a logo, and it cuts to this view, me and a logo. Then I have a outro ready, so when I'm ready to say goodnight, I can just hit the outro button, and the outro is going to roll. I reach over and I mute my microphone. So any last things you guys would like to comment on or share before we go? Let me go back up here and see if I missed anything. Okay, I see stop and think here. I'll put that on the second. Did you scratch your neck? Wow, these are Joe likes these personal questions, man. That is so cool, huh? Put that on the screen. So change over to my PC. So there's that question. No, I actually have a little rash thing happening right here. So that's what you see on my neck. So Akil Polko, let me see what your question is. No, I missed it. Let me go up here. Is it this one right here? Too many buttons? I would agree with that if that's what you're talking about. Good to see you, Doug Force. Doug here from Force Online. Thank you so much for joining me. Check out his channel. And let me see if I missed anything else that you said. That should be grayed out because I thought I put it on the screen. So too many buttons for sure. Conjoling Joe said he was late, but he's here. That's awesome. Asking Tony why he doesn't remind him about my live stream anymore. That's hilarious. We all have those things we need to be reminded about. TVJ said hi to Joe. Hi back. Why is Keith so quiet? I don't know. Maybe I'm a little bit more mellow today, or I was looking at the screen trying to figure out how to get my monitor set back up again. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to catch up here on the chat. So Ken was commenting about me switching to this camera over here, which is, yeah, I have that angle, and they're on all the time in case something happened with this camera. I can switch over, Ken, and I can literally hit a macro right here on my, well, it's like a macro. It's a Stream Deck button and switch lighting. So this switches up my lighting for this camera. Let me switch to it, actually. So now I have lighting for this camera, and then if I switch back to camera 2, I switch back to this lighting, which is actually, I spent a little bit more time getting things lit right this way, and I actually moved my camera a little bit earlier. So thanks for that comment, Ken. Kevin Crawley, it's good to see you here. I actually did your idea from last week, Kevin, about comparing the WACOM ONE tablet to the iPad, pros and cons. And so I hope you'll watch back the whole live stream tonight. There is no post show. So we're going to wrap things up here and say goodnight here in a minute. Let's see what else. Good to have you here. Kevin, you inspired tonight's live stream with your idea. So if you guys have any idea for things that you would like me to share in a live stream, please share that in the chat notes. So TVJ says he can never receive SRT in OBS, only send it. So again, that's interesting. I don't know. You guys will have to sort that out. I haven't used the SRT features in OBS. And then obviously TVJ, Kevin was looking for your channel, and it looks like you guys have been chatting in regards to that. Channel is called TVJ. Stop and Think, welcome. There is no post show tonight. I will be back on April 12th. No shows next week. Again, I've been sharing this graphic tonight. I'll put it up one more time so you guys can see it. So there is no surprises. Let's take the chat off the screen. I will be back on April 12th. There is no post show tonight. I'm only doing the live show. That's why we're going long. And so if you're just joining me, it's because there is not going to be a post show tonight. Not a problem with that. I've got someplace to be, and I need to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes in order to do that. So again, post show would be going quite a bit longer and than I am right now. So I just decided to do a longer live and try to keep it right to about 1 hour and 45 at the most. So again, get ready for a post show. Stop and think. Good to have you here tonight. On the 12th will be when the next post show is, and I have a couple really cool ideas, so you may want to be here for that. And you're welcome, Kevin. I really appreciate you saying thank you in the comments. And thank you. I didn't catch it last week when you're on with me live, that you were responding to my question, what topics would you like to see me cover? And I did kind of cover a little bit of it. But tonight I really tried to break down the Wacom tablet. I even showed my Boba Fett drawing, messed up my PC screen sharing and had to fix that, but got it back working so I can have chat on the screen. And I'm glad I did, because there was actually a super chat tonight I would not have been able to display if I had not fixed that. So again, go back and watch that. I talked about the iPad as well. The Procreate app I haven't demoed because, again, I've got to change the sharing of my screens in my laptop, and I only wanted to mess with one PC tonight. So maybe in the live show next on the 12th, I might then draw on the screen with Procreate, either in the live show or the post show. So come back for that. But great idea. Thank you for sharing that. Then I am going to do a live stream on creating graphics for the HyperDeck, which was the top answer in my poll over on my YouTube channel. So thank you so much for you guys who answered that poll. That's the first one I've ever done, which is available for me now that I'm monetized. And no, I'm not going out to dinner. So I just have some things that I'm committed to do here and for family, and that's what's going on. And we have a new guest. This is GC Spence. Hey, Keith, how are you? Where are you from? Before we get out of here, I have not seen you on my live streams before, so please let me know where you're from. If it's out of the States or in another country, we have guests from all over the world here on the live stream. Thank you for joining me. And if you go back and watch this live stream, it's all about the WACOM ONE tablet and how I use it in my live stream, as well as the iPad, mix effects, some demos, as well as I talked about one app that I did not demo tonight, and that's Procreate. I showed myself drawing on the iPad, but I don't have it set up to draw on the screen tonight. So thank you for joining me, and it's great to have you here. JC, go over to my webpage, Life Journey Productions, and I'll put a link in the notes tonight. I think there's already a link in last week's live stream post show. And then fill out the contact form so we can just email back and forth. That's the way you can contact me. That's the only way in to an email conversation. And I will try to help you figure out how to reset your iPad. It's not that difficult. I've sold a couple older iPads, and resetting it, there's some great explanations out there online. So check that out. And they can't post links here. So if there is a certain channel that you guys would go to on how to reset a Mac device, iPhone, iPad, then go ahead and put the name of that live streamer's channel on the screen. That would be great. Just Spence, so we'll call you Spence from here on out. And it's for his 5-year-old daughter. So thank you for joining me on the channel. And Freddie was telling Stop and Think that there is no post show tonight. So again, if you have not already seen this, I apologize for the shameful commercials, but if you don't know how to pop out chat, I did this series. Where's that still image? So I have a 5-part series on the channel on how to pop out chat live for YouTube using OBS, Aaron Parecki's pop out chat tool. It's free plugin for Chrome. All of that's there. There's not a ton of views yet on that post, but again, it's something that I want to do on my channel. If you're wondering what the topics are, here are the topics that I cover in that 5-part series, and they're all under 5 minutes long. They might be a little bit over 5 minutes counting the intro and the outro, but teaching is less than 5 minutes. You can watch all of them in one setting. So go over and check that out on my channel. It's in one of the playlists on the YouTube channel tonight. And like and subscribe. Obviously, if you're chatting, you've already subscribed. If you can't chat, that means you're not a subscriber, but thank you for hanging out. If you ever want to chat in a live, all you have to do is go and subscribe, and you'll be able to chat with everybody else after 5 minutes. And I do that because I've had people pop on the live streams that were not really here to be productive. And it's only happened one time that I know of, and a couple other times in my history. So that's why I have subscribers only chat, and you can subscribe and then chat in 5 minutes, which is great. And I'm sure some of you may have, that's why you end up subscribing to the channel. So, and you can unsubscribe if that's the only night you want to chat. I get that. I'm fine with that. But if you do help, if these videos are helpful, please give me a thumbs up if you can, and a like, and share them with anybody else that you think they'll be helpful. So if you think a WACOM ONE tablet could be a great tool for you, please let me know. And if you would like to take advantage of my 1-hour free consult for live streaming. So obviously, if you see technology on my channel that you know I'm working with all the time and you think I can be helpful, I do a 1-hour free consult for live streaming here from the channel. So take advantage of that, and reach out to me on my webpage and fill out the contact form and let me know that that's what you want to do. You want to have a 1-hour Zoom call with me, we'll schedule it. I've done that with many people that are here in my live streams, and many people I would love to do it that come to my live streams and they've never requested it. So, and I probably will learn something from you at the same time. Thank you so much, Joe, for that comment. Let me get it on the screen. And he says, great stream. MT says, thanks, Keith, great show as well. Even I missed a part before I woke up. Bye. See you in the next one. See you too, MT. Maybe I'll get a chance to see you over on Petra's live stream on Saturday. She does such an amazing job with her live stream, and lots of cool tech that she's sharing on live. So, okay. So, Freddie, thank you very much for that comment. That's pretty much it for tonight. I do want to thank those of you that have pushed me and motivated me to do things. Kevin Crawley for the great idea tonight about comparing these two devices. And I think camera 3 is still alive here. So Wacom tablet and iPad with mix effects on it. Obviously, I also have Procreate here on the screen, so I can draw away. If I had a brush or something opened up here, I could draw away like that. I got a red box on there. I hope you guys can see that. I have the Wacom tablet open. And again, I can actually not just have the chat open here. I can pull the chat away and reveal OBS. I can pull OBS away, reveal my desktop so you guys can see it's a real desktop. I could open up my drawing app here and find Boba Fett wherever he's at. There he is. And got Boba Fett on the screen now. So these are great tools to be using. And find the chat again here. Where are you, chat? Cut back to Mix Effects. Get my macros back on here. And let it reconnect so I can cut back to me and my logo, and I will find the chat here so we can finish up the night. There it is. For some reason, the chat is not going live. So I will bring up the chat over here on my PC. So MT says, bye everyone. Have a great week and day. Stay safe. Freddie said thanks. And with that, guys, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate so much being able to share these experiences and these live streaming tools, as well as some of the other tech and even some of the things that we've done in the past in the post show. Again, no post show tonight. We'll be back on the 12th. I hope you guys will join me for the live show and then the post show on April 12th. And then we have some great things planned in the behind the scenes to bring on those live shows, some cool footage and some cool projects in the meantime in the next 2 weeks. So again, I am Keith. This is Life Journey Production Studios. As always, I appreciate you being with me. Have a great week. Actually, a couple weeks. I'll see you very soon. And check out some of the videos here on the channel that have been posted in the last week, like the series on popping out chat in YouTube. And I demo the Wacom tablet in that series as well. So that's it for me. I'm going to go have some dinner and get my other project done. Until next time, guys, thank you so much again. Have a great week. And I'm out. Going to hit Mix Effects, hit the outro for the live show, and we'll see you very soon. Peace out.